Hi, everybody. This is Kevin Adler again for the Tacoma Park Folk Festival. The 2025 Folk Festival is on Sunday, September 7th. Music starts at 11, runs till 6, and that's the same with the craft show. And with me right now is Margaret Molinari, who is one of our 40 crafters this year. She's returning for a second year in a row. And welcome, Margaret, and tell us about the work you'll be bringing to the Folk Festival.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for having me. Um, I'm best known for I print with found objects, fruits, vegetables, pretty much anything that doesn't get up and walk away from me. So that's, and then I make them into items, pouches, some wall art, totes. I'm very well known for my needle books, things like that. Things that are useful, you know.
Mhm. I think you have a couple of examples
I
here.
have some new things this year. I'm making totes this year, which I
Nice.
knew. I'm doing a lot of dye. I'm incorporating a lot of dye into my work. So bandanas, that'll be dyed, and some of my more traditional things, my pouches and whatnot. But I'm incorporating the dye into them this year. So, and then I have wall art, some small pieces. I have much larger pieces. So this was dyed.
That is
I
beautiful.
dyed little dots, and then I printed a vintage piece of glass and then added stitching and whatnot. So, things like that.
Are these fabrics, I mean, what kind of fabrics are they?
I always work with natural fabrics, mostly like a cotton linen blend, some canvas, but yeah, cotton linens,
Okay. Okay.
canvas.
Uh, and and um and can you tell me a little bit about, like the printing with whether it's fruit or found I mean, how'd you how'd you evolve into doing that? Where'd that come from?
I started doing it maybe 6 years ago or so. I've always been a printmaker since the 70s, and I don't know. I was just it was maybe early pandemic, you know, and I think I did a like a pepper first, and or an ear of corn, something like that, something that was left in the fridge, and it just escalated from there. And then I went on to printing with glass. I had a glass jar, and I was like, oh, look at that, And next thing I know, there's ink on it, and the rest is history. I started the whole glass thing, which really has become. Then it's like I'm constantly shopping for glass. I have this huge glass collection, and leaves. I'm always my eye is always going. I'm always looking for things, but it's always been that way. I'm a designer a surface designer uh, by career. That was my thing. So I'm always like, I appreciate design. If I'm in the doctor's office, I'm looking at the chair and I'm thinking, oh, that would print nice. I cannot go into a store without looking at the mat as you go in and thinking, oh, that would make a nice print. So I appreciate design, and whether it's a manhole cover. I don't think people realize that somebody designs all this stuff. So I feel like I'm making people appreciate or see design in everything. Whether I print a lot of placemats, who would think of that? But everything is designed.
Well,
So
and when it's something like glass, a human-made design rather than a piece of fruit, you're
right.
preserving it. You're
Yes.
extending its life and giving it
Yes.
another life. It's kind of cool.
Yes. A lot
Um,
of some people get upset with me about the food waste, when I print the fruit and the vegetables. But I mean, that's a small, you know, segment, but
right.
what
Then
are
you
you
can
going
always
to do?
compost it. I think it's something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
So
it's interesting that you mentioned placemats because I was going to ask you, in terms of the that you make a lot of useful items. I was wondering if you did like, a tablecloth and napkin set, that type of thing.
no, I haven't done that yet. I've made for myself, I've made runners, like table runners, but you know, I haven't done a tablecloth yet.
Okay.
You know what? I don't use a tablecloth. That's why. Usually, when I make something, it's usually because I need it myself or I want it myself, and then it becomes like, okay, I can't just make one. So
Well, and it's interesting to me if I remember correctly from reading on your website, you did a lot of stitching.
Hmm.
A lot of your artwork was that. So now you're incorporating both the stitching, the making of things, right,
Right.
and the design on
Yes.
things. So
Yeah. I mean, I literally make everything. I even make my own labels. I print my labels. Everything start to finish is me. Yeah.
wow, wow.
So
Well, and this is something that I notice also that when you talk about what you make, you show people how you make it. You've got these videos, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing online and what you're sharing with people.
I started making the videos probably when I started doing this printing. So I've probably been making them for about 6 years. So I make time lapse videos. I put them up pretty much every day. If something's going on, I miss a day or whatever, or I can rerun an old one because there's always new people who haven't seen, and not everyone is going to scroll back 5 years. So um, yeah, I do a time lapse. I went through a couple of different setups to get the right setup. I have an overhead, and it just I think it inspires people to. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm not an artist, but we've been printing fruit in kindergarten since day one. So I think it makes people realize, oh, I can do this. You know, I feel like I'm inspiring people to give it a try. You know, so
Make it a little less intimidating. That is funny
yeah.
because we all learn things from YouTube. I remember my daughter when she was, I don't know, 13 or so. We were going to show her how to do her laundry. She said, "Oh, I'll just watch that on YouTube." Right? And like one of those rituals as a parent you think you're going to
Yeah.
do, and it's just been usurped. So it's good to know for
Yeah.
artists, and
Yeah.
obviously musicians do that all the time.
Yeah.
And do people interact with you through these videos? I mean, do they comment on your videos and
Oh
stuff?
yeah, I get a lot of comments. I try to answer every single comment. I don't do the DMs. I had to shut down because that was getting crazy. You get all kinds of junk in that. But people will comment. Sometimes something falls flat. Other times you get inundated. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I also make a PDF. Which I make available, which gives details of specifics, of what I'm doing. But the videos show them what I'm doing, and then, they have that available. So,
Well,
and I like interacting. You almost feel like you get to know some of these people. Some people I just see their handle and I actually know their name. Never met them, you know. But you have regulars that comment all the time, and I appreciate that. Most people who are posting things do appreciate the interaction. You know.
well, well, that's
If it's
great. And then
positive.
and of course, when you talk about interaction, you at our show, you'll interact. The folk festival on
Yeah.
September 7th, you'll interact with people, and you do a lot of shows. It seems to be a couple a
Yes.
month.
Yes.
What's that interaction?
I love doing the shows. I always say, even if a show isn't great, you always get something out of it. And it's a wonderful networking, with other vendors. You make friends with the other vendors and what events are going on. And I love interacting with the customers. I'm chatty, and it's a little hard to leave people be, because I'll start talking to them right away. But then, I have a lot of people who follow me on social media that'll come out, you know, and so that's always really, really nice. I love when that happens, so you get to see the people in person.
Well, and it's nice with your stuff too because it's tactile, it's useful. People can pick it up, they can unzip
Yeah.
it, they can. That must be kind of fun watching them turning it in their
Yeah.
hands as well as look at it.
Yeah. It's always nice to when the people will appreciate what you're doing and appreciate the work that goes into it, you know. And then also they'll be like, "Oh, I saw you print this, on Instagram," so it's like a full circle.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that isn't and I know certainly the folk festival, we sort of feel there's a lot of interaction with the crafters
Yeah.
and you were there last year. I guess you could.
Yeah. And it was a great turnout. I had a great time. So that's why it was definitely on my list to come back to. Yeah.
Well, we're delighted with that, and we're optimistic that we'll have another great turnout this year. Again, the folk festival's on Sunday, September 7th. There's an opening ceremony at 10:30. Music starts at 11. The craft show starts at 11. The folk festival's free. Check us out online. And Margaret, I'm also going to put your your information on in our notes so that people can start watching your videos
Oh, thank you.
and then come visit with you at the festival itself. So thanks for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I can't wait. Thank you.